Welcome to the Money Podcast Show.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Money Podcast Show.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Betty. It's great to be kicking off our very first episode.
And we are just really thrilled you're joining us for this.
Yeah, this is it. The very first episode.
It is. Can you believe it?
Feels like we've been, talking about doing this forever, planning it all out.
Definitely. How to break down these, well, sometimes pretty huge financial topics.
And now here we are, ready to actually dive in.
It's true. We've spent, countless hours kind of dissecting these concepts, pulling together what we think are the most important insights.
Yeah.
And now we get to share that whole journey with all of you.
Our mission really is just to make this big, sometimes, let's be honest, complex money stuff, not just understandable, but like relatable and useful, genuinely useful for your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Engaging too, hopefully.
Right. And speaking of relatable, have you ever just, stopped to think about money? Like really think about it, not just, how much you've got or how much you need.
Which we all do.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Exactly. But what it actually is, we use it every single day. Buying coffee, paying bills.
Checking your balance, yeah.
Constantly interacting with it. But how often do we actually pause and think, what is this thing? What's its essence?
It's funny, isn't it? It's one of those concepts we just take for granted.
Yeah. Like gravity.
Or time. It's just there. Part of the background noise of life. Most of us just accept it. Maybe it's a necessary evil. Maybe it's a goal.
Right.
But when you start to peel back the layers, you realize it's actually way more intricate. And frankly, a lot stranger than we usually think.
Precisely. Which kind of brings us to our big question for today. Something that might just, flip your whole understanding of what's in your wallet.
Or, on your phone screen these days.
Right. What if I told you that money isn't actually real, not in the solid, tangible way we often think it is?
Ooh, okay.
Or that for most of human history, what we call money, wasn't even money at all.
That's right. So today, for this first episode of the Money Podcast Show, we're going right back to basics, the absolute foundation.
Yeah, pulling back the curtain.
Exactly. On this everyday mystery of money, we want to really understand what it is, why it works the way it does, and I guess how it ended up shaping, everything, our entire world.
It's a huge topic.
It is. It's a journey, really, from the very first, simplest exchanges all the way to the super complex digital systems we use without even thinking about it now.
Okay, so let's start unpacking that. When you really stop and look at our modern world, it's built, fundamentally on this constant exchange. Money for goods, money for services.
It's the bedrock.
Try to picture just one day without it. Seriously. How would you get groceries?
How would you pay rent?
Your commute?
Yeah.
Even just streaming a show?
Forget it.
It's almost impossible to imagine, right? The logistics alone would be, mind-boggling.
Oh, completely. Without money, our whole economic system. Think about global supply chains, specialized jobs, investing.
None of it works.
It just couldn't function. We'd be thrown right back into basically direct bartering.
And history shows us that's, it's incredibly inefficient and really limiting.
And it's not just inefficient, it's practically impossible on a large scale.
Yeah.
Imagine you're, say, a skilled surgeon, and you need a new car.
Okay.
In a pure barter world, you'd have to find a car dealer who just happens to need, major surgery right then.
Right. And then you'd have to agree on how many hours of surgery equals one car?
Exactly. It's called the double coincidence of wants.
Yeah.
Both people needing exactly what the other person has.
Which almost never happens.
It's incredibly rare. It would just grind all complex trade to a halt. You'd spend all your time trying to find someone to trade with, not actually doing surgery.
So that's where money comes in. It elegantly solves that huge, paralyzing problem.
Right. Becomes what economists call the universal equivalent.
Universal equivalent. I like that.
It's the ultimate medium, the go-between, that lets you express and compare the value of anything else.
That makes perfect sense. Its main job is to express the value of any object, any service. It's this universal tool for exchange. It makes deals possible between totally different things. It lets you logically compare, a banana to a BMW.
Right. Even though they're completely different things, different uses, different costs.
Money gives them both a common measuring stick, a unit of value. It turns this chaotic mess of different goods into an organized market.
It's like money is the ultimate translator, isn't it?
Yeah, it translates banana value into car value. or, work value into rent value, things that are otherwise totally incomparable.
It really is. And it's actually much more than just a tool for simple transactions. Money is absolutely crucial for building complex social relationships on a huge scale.
How so?
Well, think about how it enables things like long-term contracts or investments, or even just how we organize work and production across whole countries, not just small villages.
Okay, yeah, like specializing.
Exactly. It allows for the division of labor. Specialists can just focus on making their thing without worrying constantly about how they'll trade it for food or clothes.
Seriously, can you imagine trying to build, I don't know, a modern city? If every single time you wanted something, you had to figure out, like, okay, how many chickens is this artisanal pottery
Right.
worth?
Or how many bushels of corn equals 1 hour of fixing my roof.
The mental energy,
Yeah.
the constant haggling, the logistical nightmare for every single little
You
thing.
get nothing else done.
No room for innovation or big projects or science. Money just simplifies all that. It frees up our brain power.
And here's where it gets really, really fascinating, I think. Money only actually works
Uh-huh.
because we as people collectively agree to use it.
Yeah.
We participate in the system. We implicitly accept its power.
It's our shared belief that gives it value.
Exactly. Our collective actions, our institutions, they all prop it up. We are the ones who determine prices, who use it to buy and sell, who use it to save up.
That's really the core idea, isn't it? That any object, whether it's a shiny coin or a piece of paper or just, numbers on a screen,
Right.
if it performs those key functions, measuring value, being a medium of exchange, a way to pay, a way to save,
Yeah.
then it can be considered money.
It shows how fluid it is, how abstract almost.
So it's not the actual paper or the metal itself that makes it money.
No.
It's our collective agreement, how we use it.
So what does that tell us about trust in an economy?
It tells us trust is everything.
Mm.
Absolutely 100% fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
Without that shared, almost subconscious belief that this piece of paper or this digital blip will be accepted by other people for real stuff,
The whole thing falls apart.
the entire system collapses. It's that fundamental trust, that kind of social contract that turns something worthless into something everyone wants.
That makes total sense. When you look at economic collapses throughout history, it's often because that trust just evaporated. Now, let's maybe pivot a bit and look back. Because money, like modern money, it didn't just pop into existence as dollar bills and credit cards, right?
Definitely not.
Throughout history, societies used all sorts of different things as a means of payment.
Right. The simplest forms, like we've touched on, were just products, swapped directly. Owner to owner.
That must have been so complicated. Imagine you need flour for baking,
Okay.
and you've got chickens laying extra eggs. You have to find a miller who not only has flour, but also right then actually wants your eggs.
That direct swap, product for product,
Yeah.
that's bartering, basically.
Yeah, the earliest stage. And that's where this idea of commodity money started to come in
Yeah.
as a more practical fix.
Okay, so commodity money, that's different. It's not just a placeholder, is it? It has its own value.
Exactly. It has independent value,
Yeah.
independent utility, even if you weren't using it as money.
You could use the thing itself.
Right. You could literally eat it or wear it or use it to make tools. Its value was inherent, not just assigned by everyone agreeing.
Okay, give me some examples.
Oh, tons. Think about animal skins,
Mm.
used for trade, but also, warmth, clothing,
Sure.
grain. You could eat it, plant it, store it. Livestock, cattle, sheep, they provided meat, milk, wool, labor,
Right, all useful stuff.
furs, pearls, even specific kinds of pretty shells like cowrie shells in some places. Salt was a big one, vital for preserving food.
So the value was baked into the actual material.
That's the key difference. It was intrinsically valuable.
But, okay, as societies got bigger, more complex,
Mm-hmm.
these commodity forms, even things like gold and silver coins eventually, they started to become impractical, right?
Totally. Imagine trying to carry enough bags of grain to buy a house.
Or enough cows to buy a fleet of trading ships.
You'd need a strong back and a huge barn. The complexity of payments just kept increasing. It demanded something more efficient, more standardized.
Transporting big, bulky stuff or even lots of metal, it's risky. Cumbersome, not great for everyday shopping.
Exactly. That pressure forced the next big evolution in money. The physical limits of commodities they spoil, they're hard to divide evenly.
Right.
It pushed us towards something more refined. But yeah, this commodity stage wasn't going to work forever. Hold that thought, actually, because this next shift, it changes absolutely everything. about how money works today.
Okay, so we saw commodities, then specifically metals like gold and silver, becoming the go-to.
Hmm.
And that wasn't random. They were chosen because they just worked better than, cows or grain for being money.
Right. Think about the advantages. Durability, they don't rot.
Divisibility, you can break them down into smaller bits for smaller purchases.
Portability, much easier to carry around than a sack of wheat.
Those properties were absolutely key. Gold and silver could be weighed accurately, melted down, stamped into standard coins.
Yeah, early coins were basically just guaranteed weights of metal. The stamp was like a seal of approval for purity and weight.
But even with metal coins, as economies got bigger and busier,
Just the sheer volume of transactions.
even carrying lots of coins became a hassle for big trades.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that inconvenience led to the next massive conceptual jump, the beginning of what we now call credit money.
Credit money, okay.
This often started as paper money,
Yeah.
which initially was just like an IOU, a promise from a goldsmith or a bank to pay you a certain amount of actual gold or silver they were holding for you,
Like a claim check for your gold.
pretty much. And eventually, that evolved into entries in bank account ledgers, which are essentially just digital promises today.
So that shift from physical metal to credit money, it was basically moving from tangible inherent value
Uh-huh.
to a system based on trust and promises.
That's the core of it. If it's not physical gold or even paper backed by gold, it's kind of like a collective promise, isn't
a
it?
promise from the bank.
From the government, from everyone else using it, that this thing, this piece of paper or digital number actually has value.
Okay, and that brings us straight to modern money, right? Fiat money.
Exactly. That's mostly what we use today, fiat money.
And fiat basically means it's money because someone in charge says it is.
Pretty much. It has no real independent value. Its intrinsic material value is tiny or way out of proportion to its face value.
Think about a dollar bill, the actual paper and ink, worth almost nothing on its own.
Its legitimacy doesn't come from the material. Fiat money works because a central authority, usually the government, decrees it legal tender, meaning you have to accept it for debts within that country. And crucially, the government accepts it for tax payments.
Ah, the tax part is key.
It really is. That government backing gives it universal acceptance within that economy. It becomes this shared belief enforced by law.
So that dollar bill in your pocket, its value isn't the cotton linen blend.
Yep.
It's because the government says this is money, and because we all trust that system and agree to use it that way.
It's powerful because we collectively agree it's powerful. It's a fascinating social construct, really.
It really is. Speaking of what's in your pocket, what's the weirdest or most useful old coin or bill you've ever just, found? DM us your stories. We'd love to hear them.
That could be fun. So today, the main forms of this fiat money are physical banknotes
Cash.
and what we call bank money or non-cash money.
Okay, non-cash money needs explaining. It doesn't mean you don't have money.
Right. It means you're settling debts without physically handing over bills and coins. It's mostly about making claims against a bank account, and those claims get transferred digitally.
Okay, so if I pay you with a $20 bill, I physically give you the note, ownership transfers. But if I pay you with my debit card, what's really happening?
My bank is essentially making a digital note, a promise, to transfer that value from my account to your bank, which then credits your account.
It's a whole system of claims and promises mediated by banks.
Exactly. Built on layers of trust and technology. And we're seeing this shift accelerate massively, right? Payment cards, phone apps, all kinds of e-money.
Oh, yeah. Tap to pay everywhere.
Banknotes are still around, but they're gradually becoming less common in circulation in many places.
It is kind of wild to think that physical paper money might actually become like a historical relic in our lifetime.
Replaced by digital bits and bytes, future generations might only see cash in museums.
Alongside, I don't know, floppy disks and VCRs. Crazy. Now let's dig just a bit deeper into credit money, because that's so foundational now.
Okay.
You said it's basically a future claim on someone, a special kind of debt.
Right. Usually it's in the form of a transferable security, something that can be used to buy stuff or pay off other debts.
Like a really sophisticated IOU, but
Yeah.
one that other people will accept and maybe even trade.
Exactly. When you use a credit card, you're not spending real money instantly. You're basically issuing a promise, a claim on your future income that your bank agrees to back.
And the bank uses its promise to pay the shop owner.
Right. It's layers of promises. And that transferable security part means that sometimes the promise itself can be bought and sold before the original debt is even paid back.
And payment usually happens within a set time or sometimes on demand. But crucially, and this is important, loan money, credit money,
It always carries risk.
the risk of default. It's a promise, but promises can be broken.
So, thinking about all this, if our money is increasingly digital, increasingly based on these complex layers of promises, what does that actually mean for our trust in the whole system?
It means trust is more critical than ever. The whole global economy at its core runs on this fragile yet somehow incredibly resilient shared belief in these abstract values and in the institutions managing them.
Without that fundamental trust, even the slickest digital payment systems would just crumble.
It's a testament to human cooperation, really, in a strange way.
It really is. Okay, so we've talked about what money is, how it evolved, but to really get the full picture, how it shapes everything,
Right.
we need to look at its superpowers, its core functions.
Right. What does money actually do? Modern economics points to several key functions.
The first one, maybe the most fundamental, is money as a measure of value.
Or unit of account.
All right, this is how we compare different goods and services, how we put a price on things.
The price acts like a measuring tool, like using meters for length or kilograms for weight. Money provides that universal standard for economic value.
It's the ultimate ruler, right? For everything we buy or sell or own, a specific unit, like a dollar or a euro, becomes the standard for comparing everything else.
You don't need to know the physics of gold, you just need to know its price in dollars.
Exactly. But here's a tricky question economists sometimes debate. Can fiat money, money with no inherent value, truly measure its own value?
How can it?
Some argue it doesn't really make sense logically. Since its value is assigned, not intrinsic, it's a bit philosophical.
It is a bit mind-bending. The stability of money as a measure, it holds up as long as there are way more goods and services available than there is money floating around.
Right. But if that balance shifts,
Yeah.
if you get too much money chasing too few goods,
Then the measure breaks down.
money can lose that function.
Yeah.
Your ruler gets.
Well, bendy, unreliable. Its purchasing power fluctuates wildly, makes planning impossible.
And that bendy ruler is exactly what we call inflation, or in extreme cases, hyperinflation.
Right, when the measuring stick itself keeps changing size.
Suddenly your salary is millions, but a loaf of bread costs $500,000. The numbers become almost meaningless because the unit of account is unstable.
Businesses can't plan, savings get wiped out, trust collapses. It's why central banks work so hard to keep inflation low and stable, keep the ruler reliable.
Makes sense. Okay, next superpower. The one most people think of first. Money as a media of exchange.
This is money as the go-between, making transactions smooth, way better than barter.
And for this to work, the key is liquidity.
Liquidity, meaning
How easily and quickly you can swap money for anything else, any commodity, any service, any asset.
back to the wheat and shoes example. Before money, finding that double coincidence of wants.
A nightmare.
Money just cuts through all that hassle. You sell your wheat for cash, use the cash to buy shoes from anyone selling them. Simple.
It's revolutionary, really. And as a medium of exchange, money overcomes time and space limits.
How so?
You can sell something today and use the money to buy supplies weeks or months later, or sell in one city and instantly use that value to buy something across the globe.
It's the oil in the economic engine. It allows global trade, specialization, everything.
Absolutely. Okay, third function. Money as a means of payment.
This sounds similar to medium of exchange. How is it different?
It's specifically about registering debts and then paying them off.
Ah,
It becomes really important when prices are unstable.
okay.
Say you buy something on credit. The amount you owe is fixed in money terms, say $500. Not in terms of the thing you bought, whose price might change later.
Got that. If I bought a bike for $500 on a payment plan, I owe $500 cash, even if the price of that bike model goes up or down later.
Exactly. You don't pay back in bikes. Money also serves this function universally when dealing with authorities paying taxes, fines.
Right. The government wants cash, not chickens.
And it's how we express all the big economic numbers. GDP, national debt, trade deficits, all measured in money.
So money is like the ultimate IOU tracker. It gives us a stable unit for tracking debts and obligations over time, regardless of price swings.
That's a great way to think about it. It formalizes those commitments.
Okay. And the fourth superpower.
Money as a means of accumulation or a store of value.
This is about saving.
Exactly. When money is saved, not immediately spent, it lets you transfer purchasing power from today into the future.
The money performing this function is kind of paused, taken out of active circulation temporarily.
Right. And crucially, unlike things you consume, eat an apple, it's gone. Money itself doesn't disappear when you hold on to it. It remains as potential value.
It's like a time capsule for your buying power. You put dollars in today, hoping to open the capsule later and buy something.
For a big purchase, retirement, and emergency fund.
But, and this is the big but, that stored power can leak.
The critical caveat, inflation.
If prices go up over time, the money you saved buys less later than it does now. The value inside the time capsule shrinks.
Exactly. This function, storing value, is why we save and invest. It underpins wealth building, long-term planning. It's why we don't just spend every penny the moment we get it.
Makes sense. Okay, so those are the core functions within an economy. What about between countries?
Right. That brings us to world money.
Because we live in a globalized world. International trade, global loans, services across borders.
You need a special kind of money that works everywhere, that's accepted internationally.
World money acts as that universal payment method for cross-border deals, and it represents like a globally recognized form of wealth.
Historically, going back centuries and well into the 20th century, what played that role?
Gold, precious metals,
Yeah.
especially gold, in coins or standardized bars, bullion.
That's why the gold standard was such a big deal for international finance for so long. It was the global anchor.
But today, that role is played mainly by reserve currencies.
Which are?
The big ones right now are the US dollar, the Swiss franc, the euro, the British pound, and the Japanese yen.
These are the currencies widely held by central banks globally, used for international trade, and often used to back other countries' currencies.
Yeah. But beyond just those few, other national currencies can also be used for international payments, right? Through the big financial systems.
Absolutely. Huge systems like CLS, continuous link settlement, they handle massive amounts of currency conversion constantly. So lots of currencies can function internationally, depending on the trade relationship.
So certain currencies become these kind of global trust anchors, allowing relatively smooth deals between totally different economic systems.
It reflects the economic clout, the political stability, the perceived trustworthiness of the countries issuing them.
Which leads to a related but more historical idea, forming treasure.
Ah, yes. Less relevant now, but fascinating historically.
Back when money was mostly physical stuff like gold coins, if there seemed to be too much money floating around compared to goods,
Which could cause inflation, destabilize prices.
people would actually deliberately take money out of circulation. They'd hoard it as treasure.
To try and keep things balanced.
Now, how is this treasure different from just savings?
Good question. Savings, as we think of them today, usually have a purpose.
Right. Saving for a house deposit, for retirement, for a specific goal. You plan to spend it eventually.
Exactly. Treasure, historically, was often money piled up without a clear plan or purpose. Maybe because people didn't know how to use it effectively or just wanted to hoard the physical wealth.
It wasn't really about a future goal. It was just sitting there, often literally hidden in chests or buried.
So treasure was kind of like the old school version of stuffing cash under the mattress, but on a potentially massive scale, with no real plan for it.
That's a perfect analogy. It just sat there like a passive economic buffer.
And historically, this treasure would then get spent when the economy needed more money, maybe during a war or a famine or just when trade picked up, a sort of crude way to regulate the money supply.
But today, with our symbolic fiat money, central banks actively manage the money supply with policy tools. So treasure hoarding doesn't really play that regulatory role anymore.
It's an interesting historical footnote. Shows how differently liquidity used to be managed.
It really is amazing how our understanding and how we use money just mirrors how society develops, isn't it?
Absolutely. From tangible shells and metals to increasingly abstract promises and digital code, its evolution tells the story of human economic and social progress, constantly adapting to more complexity.
It really does. And wow, that brings us towards the end of our very first episode here on the Money Podcast Show.
Already, time flies when you're demystifying global finance.
We really hope you've maybe gained a slightly new perspective on this thing you use every single day.
We've seen how money evolved dramatically: shells, grain, gold, paper, digital bits, but its core job, facilitating exchange, measuring value, enabling payments, letting economies grow beyond simple barter, that's remained constant.
That's our action step for you today. Grasp money's core functions.
Just thinking about those functions can really change how you see your own financial life.
Definitely. Now, as we wrap up this first one, you might be thinking, Okay, if money didn't always exist, where did it actually come from? How did this whole thing start?
Good question. And that is exactly what we are diving into next time in episode 2 of the Money Podcast Show.
That's right. In episode 2, we are going way back. Before credit cards, before cash, even before coins. We're exploring how money actually came into existence.
We'll look at ancient bartering, why it wasn't enough, the surprising origins of coins and paper money,
How trust, banks, and technology built the system we have now.
and we'll even peek into what money might look like in the future. It's a strange, messy, but absolutely fascinating story.
So what you'll learn next time. What came before money and why barter failed. Where coins and paper money came from. How trust and tech shaped today's system. And, yeah, maybe a glimpse of the future of money.
That's what we're discussing next time in episode 2. Money didn't always exist. So where did it come from?
Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that one.
Please do.
Yeah.
And like this episode if you found it useful. Drop your comments or thoughts below. We genuinely love hearing from you and getting your perspective.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time on the Money Podcast Show.
Bye for now.